The Bilderbergers, the Trilateral Commission, and the Council on Foreign Relations thinks a lot, okay? The Illuminati, the Freemasons, the 360-degree Freemasons, as well as the aliens, the Greys, the Blues, the Reptilians, the Dracos, Inky, the people from Mu, Lemuria, the Atlanteans, everybody, the black beings on the rings of Saturn, all of you. I almost lost my religion. Okay, and I don't even have one. All right, listen. They tried to take down Alex Jones, and you know, the freedom of speech is being ruined out here. And actually, I blame Tariq Nasheed. I think Tariq Nasheed from Hidden Colors had something to do with it. I'm gonna go become a wrestler now.
All right, you guys. So if you guys didn't know already, your man Alex Jones, or as Tariq Nasheed calls him, Porky, has been banned. He was taken down. Okay, they body slammed this fool. My Jesus. Shout out to usatoday.com for posting this article today, Monday, August 6th of 2018. Let me see, they posted at 2:13 p.m. Eastern time. What time is it on the East Coast? It's 3:22 p.m. as I'm recording. Ooh, 3:22. Skull and Bones. So they posted it just an hour ago. So I'm going to get this video up as soon as possible. Excuse me, it was updated at 2:13 p.m. Eastern time. They originally published it at 9:09 a.m. Eastern time, which is 6:09 Pacific time. Anyways, the article was titled, Apple, Facebook, YouTube, and Spotify remove Alex Jones show. InfoWars over hate speech. It was posted by Mike Snyder. Here's what he wrote.
Talk about a rough Monday morning.
Talk about a rough Monday morning. Pundit Alex Jones found his radio and video show and other content produced by the far-right site InfoWars expunged from Apple, Facebook, Spotify, and YouTube. The cumulative actions represent the largest efforts yet against Jones, a conspiracy theorist who most famously promoted the idea that the 2012 Sandy Hook Elementary School shooting never happened and was staged. Several families affected by the shooting and an FBI agent who responded to the attack have sued Jones for defamation. He is seeking to have the cases dismissed. Facebook said on Monday that 4 pages belonging to Jones were removed for violating the social network's policy against hate speech. Also on Monday, the entirety of hundreds of episodes of the Alex Jones show had been removed from music streaming service Spotify. Those takedowns came just hours after Apple late Sunday removed all episodes of the show hosted by Jones and 4 other InfoWars related podcasts from Apple's iTunes and podcast apps. And later Monday, YouTube removed Jones and InfoWars channels from the video sharing service, with some pages labeled with the declaration the account was terminated for violations of community guidelines. Jones has lately been on the radar of social media and streaming services. Spotify removed several episodes of the Alex Jones show last week, citing violations of its policy against hateful speech. Online sentiment had been building against Spotify for days after subscribers found the episodes listed on the service. Earlier this month, Facebook faced criticism for InfoWars remaining on the social network despite its crackdown on the spread of fabricated news. Prior to its action Monday, YouTube removed 4 of Jones's videos from his channel 2 weeks ago and suspended him from broadcasting live for 90 days, saying the channel violated the community's graphic content policy. Apple's move Sunday to remove 5 of 6 InfoWars related podcasts, including
The Alex Jones Show and
War Room, from its directories, first reported by BuzzFeed News, seemed to initiate a domino effect. Apple does not tolerate hate speech, and we have clear guidelines that creators and developers must follow to ensure we provide a safe environment for all of our users, the company said in a statement. Podcasts that violate those guidelines are removed from our directory, making them no longer searchable or available for download or streaming. Apple's statement said, "We believe in representing a wide range of views, so long as people are respectful to those with differing opinions," end quote. Links to, quote, Real News with David Knight by InfoWars remains on Apple's podcast apps. Similarly, Facebook said it removed 4 of Jones' pages for repeatedly posting content that included, quote, hate speech that attacks or dehumanizes others, the network said in a post on its website. After removing 4 videos, 1 each on 4 of Jones' pages, the Alex Jones channel page, the Alex Jones page, the InfoWars page, and the InfoWars nightly news page, violating, quote, our hate speech and bullying policies. Facebook continued to get reports from users, it says. Those pages were ultimately taken down for, quote, glorifying violence, which violates our graphic violence policy, and using dehumanizing language to describe people who are transgender, Muslims, and immigrants, which violates our hate speech policies, end quote. Facebook says Jones was placed on a 30-day block, quote, for his role in posting violating content to these pages, end quote, the company said. Facebook said none of its actions was due to false news found on InfoWars related sites. Okay, so remember, Facebook wasn't worried about the fake news. But then again, if you've ever read the stuff that's posted on Facebook, you should know why. But anyways, when asked why YouTube took action because Jones and InfoWars, the site, sent this statement to USA Today, quote, when users violate these policies repeatedly, like our policies against hate speech and harassment, or our terms prohibiting circumvention of enforcement measures, we terminate their accounts, end quote. The cumulative actions by the tech companies were hailed by InfoWars detractors, with one person applauding, quote, a little courage shown by our tech titans. It's good to see companies step up when people so flagrantly propagate falsehoods, end quote. So somebody named Matt McCurry said the following on Twitter on August 6th of 2018. Finally, a little, okay, that's the person that said it. They posted the quote and then they posted the tweet afterwards. It threw me off for a second. Anyways, back to the article. Jones, during his show on Infowars.com, said he would have to remove the site's links to social media because Infowars content there, quote, is all gone. They blew it all away in the middle. Wait, let me read it like him. Jones, during his show on Infowars.com, said he would have to remove the site's links to social media because Infowars content there, quote,
is all gone. They blew it all away in the middle of the night,
end quote. Also on the site, a preview of the Monday's Alex Jones show topic said Facebook permanently banned Infowars while Apple removed entire Infowars libraries from iTunes under the guise of, quote, hate speech. He said, quote, the war on your mind is in full swing as globalists remove outlets of liberty and truth, starting with the tip of the spear. Alex Jones, end quote. Jones posted a separate note on Twitter asking, quote, what conservative news outlets will be next? The one platform that they can't ban and will always have our live streams is, and then he posted a link to the InfoWars website.
Spread the links to help. Hashtag InfoWars fight. Hashtag censorship.
Also commenting on the situation was WikiLeaks, which posted a pair of tweets at first critiquing Facebook's actions as a power play, tweeting that, quote, the ability of Facebook to censor rival publishers is a global antitrust problem, which along with San Francisco culture imperialism reduces political diversity, end quote. First of all, I'm going to tell y'all why. See, why don't y'all just start your own conservative version of like a Facebook or Twitter, something like that, since you claim that you're always being banned, you know, because you're conservatives. Then why don't you just start your own website, platform, however you want to word it. I'm going to tell you guys why after I'm done reading the rest of this news article. It's almost over. Also commenting on the situation was WikiLeaks, which posted a pair of tweets at first critiquing Facebook's actions as a power play, tweeting that, quote, the ability of Facebook to censor rival publishers is a global antitrust problem, which along with San Francisco culture imperialism reduces political diversity, end quote. The empire strikes back. Apple, Spotify, Facebook, and Google/YouTube all purge Infowars/Alex Jones. Yes, Infowars has frequent nonsense, but also a state power critique, which publishers in the world with millions of subscribers is next to be wiped out for cultural transgression. That was WikiLeaks on Twitter on August 6th of 2018. After YouTube's action, WikiLeaks blasted all 4 companies saying, quote, the empire strikes back. Apple, Spotify, Facebook, Google/YouTube all purge Infowars/Alex Jones, end quote. So they were Requoting the tweet. So they quote the tweet and they post the tweet. Okay, anyways, the international nonprofit organization, well known for July 2016 release of a trove of Democratic National Committee emails, questioned whether the takedowns were the right move. Quote, yes, InfoWars has frequent nonsense, but also a state power critique. Which publisher in the world of millions of subscribers is next to be wiped out for cultural transgression? Can y'all please stop double quoting? InfoWars says it's been banned by Facebook for unspecified, quote, hate speech. Regardless of the facts in this case, the ability of Facebook to censor rival publishers is a global antitrust problem, which, along with San Francisco cultural imperialism, reduces political diversity. Okay, so regardless of the facts in the case. So facts don't matter when things happen to conservatives. Facts suddenly are just nothing to talk about. What's the fact? I mean, I thought that it's all about the facts according to conservatives, but okay. That's why you have WikiLeaks, right? Because you're supposed to be posting facts. So regardless of the facts, don't read WikiLeaks. My opinion, some commenters on Twitter posted concerns about the political harm of squelching voices, even if Jones and InfoWars had in the past fueled conspiracy theories such as Pizzagate, a far-fetched falsehood that Hillary Clinton operated a child sex ring at the Washington, D.C. pizza restaurant, where in December of 2016 a man fired his weapon off inside the pizza shop. Jones last year apologized to the restaurant owner, quote, I don't support Alex Jones and what InfoWars produces. He's not a conservative. However, banning him and his outlet is wrong, said Brent Bosel, founder and president of the Media Research Center, well, a nonprofit conservative group that monitors liberal trends in the media. Quote, it's just the beginning, Bosel said in a statement. Quote, we are rapidly approaching a point where censorship of opposing voices is the norm. That's dangerous, end quote. Okay, shout out to Mike Snyder. At the end of the article, it says follow USA Today reporter Mike Snyder on Twitter at Mike Snyder. That's MikeSnider. So make sure to follow Mike Snyder on Twitter if you're not following him already. So here's the thing, right? The reason why these conservatives don't just go and make their own site, you know, since they're having so many problems on these liberal social media websites, is simple. Conservatism is dying rapidly. Okay, look at all the foolishness that comes out of Alex Jones or Donald Trump's mouths. And I don't think either one of them are conservatives at all. I think Donald Trump might be a rhino. Rhino means Republican in name only. These are people who are basically essentially pretend Republicans, and they do so to get votes, but they're not like real Republicans. It's not like they're like they really believe, you know, the policies, or rather follow the political agenda of quote unquote conservatives. It's like they're using the name in order to get votes and whatnot, but they're not actual real Republicans. They just say that they're Republicans. Donald Trump is the stuff that this guy is saying, it's as if he's trying to destroy the Republicans from the inside out. It's just unbelievable. Okay, when Donald Trump said that thing about I could shoot somebody and not lose a vote on Fifth Avenue, I think he said, in New York, I can go out there and just shoot somebody and not lose any votes. I mean, come on now. Like, do you really want somebody who says something like that representing your political party? If you do, you're a damn fool. But here's the thing, right? So check this out. The Republicans at this point know that they're basically a bunch of trolls. Not only are they trolls, they sell sensationalism. They're shock jocks, a bunch of shock jocks. And they're also a bunch of like wannabe comedians. They pretty much all suck. They're not funny or entertaining. So they're shock jocks, they're pseudo comedians, they're pseudo intellectuals. And if they had their own conservative websites, what it would show is that a lot of the people that visit them would not even be, you know, people who actually believe the foolishness that comes from them, because their fellow first of all, a lot of conservatives are older people who are not on the internet like that. Number one. Number two, their numbers are a lot lower than what they want you to think. Like, they'll make it seem as if America is pretty much 48% liberal, 48% conservative, 48% pretty much Democrat, 48%, Republican, and then the other 4%, so that's 96%. The other 4% of people are just like other, where they're kind of like in the middle of the road or whatever, or undecided or independent. Like, there's almost nobody who's really independent. Pretty much everybody is either a conservative or a liberal in some sort or some form. That's the way that they'll make it seem, as if it's pretty much split down the middle. While in reality, most people, rather far less than half people, are damn conservatives or Republicans. That's why they have to have that safety net when those votes go in. They can't win by popular vote. Listen, your vote doesn't matter. They can't win the vote and get into office because the people voted them in. America's not a damn democracy. It's a republic. They cannot get into office because we, the people, voted them in. The only way that they can get in is by the, what is it called? The Electoral College. The Illuminati. Because nobody knows who the motherfuckers are. The Electoral College puts whoever they want into office. If I'm not mistaken, they put George Bush over John McCain. If I'm not mistaken, he had the popular vote. Same thing with Hillary over Donald Trump. This is the thing. I knew that Hillary would get more votes than Trump. I had predicted that she was going to become president, and it scared the shit out of me. But here's the thing, though. I remember saying, like, there's no way that Donald Trump could become president. I'm like, come on now. It would expose the fact that conservative Republicans, by the millions, are a bunch of white supremacist thugs, basically. There's no way that they're going to allow that to happen. That's foolishness. Of course they can't let that happen, because if they did let that happen, the cat would be out the bag and be running around like a chicken with his head cut off. So I'm like, there's absolutely no way that they're going to go ahead and put all their cards on the table and let Donald Trump become president, because it will expose everything. And they say warfare is based on deception. And, of course, the conservative Republicans and whatnot, they're basically, super pro-military, pro-war. They're definitely a bunch of liars. And essentially, if you really think about it, the Republican conservative types are pretty much destroying America. If you really pay attention to what they're doing and what they're saying, hell, people were actually freaking out that are Republicans. They're freaking out at the stuff that Donald Trump is doing. They're like, wait a damn minute. I don't want anything to do with what this guy is doing and saying, because he doesn't represent America at all. I may be a Republican. I don't know what he's supposed to be. He says that he's a Republican, but damn it. And I told y'all before, I think the dude is a rhino, Republican in name only. I think it's really hard for some conservatives to admit that, because they don't want to admit that they got played because of their huge egos. However, the only way that the Republicans are going to fix what's going on is if they admit to what's going on and say, hey, hell yeah, we got played. Trump played us. Jones played us. And some others played us too. You're damn right. But we're going to get it together, and we're going to regroup, and we're going to rebuild the Republican Party. But as of right now, they're not smart enough to do that. As a matter of fact, conservatives are so sick in the head, it's to the point where they have actual, like, articles and forums that teach each other how to troll the internet, including being a troll that trolls black people specifically, quote unquote black Americans. That's just sad. When your political party has been reduced to being internet trolls, you know that you've reached an all-time low. It's like people who are internet troll, unless they're doing it for profit, but people who are doing basically trolling the internet are looked at as like the lowest of the low. I mean, if you're getting paid for it or something like that, then it's like, okay, well, we understand what your agenda is. But their agenda is to shift the political landscape, to basically to make people think in a conservative way, to support conservatives, to think that liberals are liars and crazy people, that they're criminals, etc., to hate liberals and Democrats, etc. However, at the end of the day, man, I'm just sitting back and I'm like, wow, do you really think that trolling the internet is going to get people not just away from liberalism and into the arms of conservatives, but you think that in the future that America is going to become much more conservative place? You got to look at it like this. These same people want white only spaces, and you got to understand white only conservative spaces like in middle America. And you have to understand why, because with diversity comes enlightenment, and what they're scared of is white people from the middle of America who have not really been exposed to black people. Like if you watch TV, or sometimes if you're on the internet, you're watching, different things, you might come across a news article, etc. Some of these white people tell you, like, look, man, I've never even really been around black people. Like, I've seen them on TV, but I have never even really been around them. Like, when I went to school, there was like one black kid there, from a well-to-do family, or somebody got bused there. They got sent there by the school because of where they lived. If they would have been like one house over, they would have been in another district or something like that. But for the most part, they haven't really been around black people, right? And they'll tell you that flat out. So when these people get around black people, they'll just see that they're just normal people. That's why you see them in movies depicting black people as like these damn characters. They just can't depict black people as just being normal human beings and having normal interactions, falling in love and, raising children, etc. However, when you put black people on like a TV show with a normal intact black family with a mother and a father, and they're both black and they have black children, dude, it becomes the #1 show on whatever network, whether it's That's So Raven or it's My Wife and Kids. I think the Hughleys was #1 too at one point, I'm pretty sure. But anyways, whenever these shows come out, was Family Matters #1? The point is this though, whenever you show a show like that on TV, it ends up becoming the #1 damn show. Okay? It ends up getting the highest ratings because it's like it's surreal to people, because people are so used to seeing black people depicted as other. They're like, wow, they're like normal human beings. That's why white people come up to you when you're at work, when you're at school, when you're introduced to one, or you have just a random interaction with a white person in public, and they start saying something really stupid to you. Like, black people are like this, black people are like that. Because, they're not really around black people. So they think that you're other, because that's what they've been fed by the media. That all black people speak in a really super loud voice. There's no such thing as a, quote, black introvert. There's no black nerds. Black people are not smart. Black people are low IQs. I just went and clicked on a video from The Root, right? I'm going to actually watch the video right after I upload the video I'm recording now. The Root posted a video today, August 6th of 2018. Its title is, quote, White Power, the same as, quote, Black Power, Black Klansman Premiere. So they interviewed Tiffany Haddish. Let me see. I got this video on mute, so let me look through it. See, they talked to Tiffany Haddish. Who is this? Well, there's a bunch of random people. See, Spike Lee is there. I'm not sure whether or not they talked to him. I'm just kind of like fast forwarding through it on mute to tell you some of the people who were there. Okay. A lot of celebrities. Maxwell, the singer Maxwell, is there. Let me see. John David Washington. He's there. Who's this dude right here? Ron Stallworth is there. Like I said, Spike Lee. Okay, they did speak to Spike Lee. He has the Prince symbol on his hat in the video. Yeah, Spike Lee directed Black Klansman, the movie, right? I scroll down to the comments. There was one comment there when I clicked on the video by somebody named American Nationalist. Okay? American Nationalist. Now, if you can't put together what that person's about just by that name, I don't know what to tell you. But what they said was the average IQ in this video is 65. Now, if you don't know why this is obviously a white person who said this, okay? Let me explain to you why American Nationalist said the average IQ in this video is 65. What they're basically implying is black people have low IQs inherently due to their racial genetics. Their genetics make them stupid. If I'm not mistaken, 65 is considered to be retarded. So he's essentially saying the black people in this video are retarded. IQ is code word for black, just like thug is code word for black. Whenever they say stuff like this, they're just insulting black people. This person is a suspected white supremacist, and I wouldn't be surprised if they've not have never really been around too many black people. And I said to the person, I said, I doubt you've ever seen their IQ test results. Yeah, this is what I said to them. I doubt you've ever seen their IQ test results. I don't know how much they're paying you, but is it really worth it? I mean, your team is losing big time, and I know that scares you, but at least bow out gracefully. It's over. Okay? So yeah, I know how to put these demons in their place. I know how to speak to them. I know what to say to them. That's when when I choose to speak to them at all. But my comments are carefully crafted to sting that ass like a killer bee. Wu-Tang. Like, I don't just leave comments for no damn reason. I leave comments because, you know, if you want to post your agenda up there, it's like, okay, that's what you're going to say. Well, I got you. I know what to say to you. But, you know, I'm not going to sit up there and argue back and forth with the person. I'm not going to sit up there and say, well, let me tell you something. This is what I will say about it. When white people start talking about IQs, what you need to say to them is this. White people's IQs are typically average. You have to look at it like this. You have white people who have an IQ, let's say, for example, of 100, talking about how low, quote unquote, black people's IQs are, intelligence quotients. But you got to ask yourself this. If your IQ is only a damn 100 and 100 is average, right? 90 to 100, somewhere in that range, right? How dare you with your extra average IQ sit up there and talk about somebody's IQs? Like, you may assume that this person who's saying this, you know, is like some sort of a Mensa member, Prometheus Society member, or member of the Giga Society. You would think that their IQ was within the top 1 or 2% of the people who have been tested. However, these people are just average, if not maybe even below average themselves. These are not geniuses. These are not people who even have the IQ of a doctor. Like, that's maybe like 120. You know, they say a scientist maybe has an IQ of 130, 132, you know, around genius level. 120 is like doctor level. And anyways, I'm not gonna say how high my IQ is, but let's just say it's higher than average. And yes, I tested genius, but who cares? The point is, it's really irrelevant. It really truly is. But these people who are saying this have average IQs themselves, more than likely. They're pretending, they're implying their IQs are so much higher than average. They should basically be the spokespeople for high IQs. Like they're part of some special group or something. It's really pathetic. If you really think about it, at the end of the day, what their real issue is, they're a damn nobody. And they want to be somebody so bad that they have to have something to grasp onto. Their whole life, their self-esteem, what they think about themselves, how they feel is based upon whether or not they can look down upon someone else. And if they can't, if they have nobody to troll, if they have nobody to look down upon, if they can't feel superior to another group of people, they might as well not even live. Like, they literally can't live with the idea that they're equivalent to quote unquote black people, that, you know, that we're not all genetically equal when we're born. And your environment and the things that you're taught, what you learn throughout life and whatnot, determine whether or not you have a high IQ, low IQ, or average IQ. These idiots are actually pretending IQ has anything to do with race. And I'm sure they know damn well that IQ has nothing to do with race. But anyways, guys, conservatism's on its way out anyway. And I posted a video years ago. If you type this in on YouTube, Meat Magazine, racist internet comments are paid trolls, proof, exposed, anti-black, pro-conservative liars. Or if you just type in Meat Magazine, racist internet comments are paid trolls. I guess I meant to type racist internet commentators. But anyways, or maybe I typed it like that. I might have typed it like that on purpose, actually. Yeah, I might have done that on purpose. Because of, you know, what do you call it? SEO reasons, search engine optimization, you know. But anyways, long story short, my IQ, intelligence quotient, is higher than most or possibly all of these white people who are saying what they're saying. And this is just yet another conservative talking point. And whether they realize it or not, that is hate speech. You're essentially, you're talking like a Nazi. You're saying you believe in eugenics. You're saying you believe you're more intelligent than another group of people, not because of your achievements as an individual, but collectively as a race. Most of those people, those white people who are saying that, don't have any real individual achievements. They might have a football trophy, and that'll be about it. A little metal man that they earned, quote unquote, earned from banging their head into other people. That's about it. So they're trying to act as if they have some sort of high academic achievements that are so much higher than yours. They don't even know what. See, this is why these people, these conservative, racist, hate speech promoting trolls and thugs, when they meet a random black person, they'll just start asking you dumb questions like, so what school did you go to? And if you're a stupid black person, you'll think they're just having a random conversation with you. Like they're just cutting the shit. They're just, you know, talking about life or something like that. Like you think that they just ask everybody questions like that. No, what they're doing is they're sizing you up. They're deciding whether or not they're going to be a disrespectful troll. And remember, these people are trolls in real life. They're deciding whether or not they're going to treat you poorly or whether or not they're going to treat you not well. But just like in the movie Django Unchained, when the dentist was explaining to the black female slave that, you know, you don't treat Django like you treat the other slaves because he's a free man. Was it Django? Rather, was it the... No. Maybe it was the guy who was the overseer. Anyway, some white man was explaining to a black female slave, listen, don't treat Django like you treat the other slaves. You know, he's a free man. Do you understand or whatever? She was like, oh, so treat him like white folks? And he was like, no, I didn't say treat him like white folks. You know, they want to size you up and see whether or not they're going to treat you the way that they normally treat black people, or whether or not they're going to treat you a little bit better. Or as people say, they'll say, I'll give you that. In other words, they decide whether or not they're going to let that part of their personality out. And then the funny thing about it is this, man. It's really crazy. But that's essentially what Alex Jones is doing. He was keeping certain parts of his personality hidden for years. I remember first coming across Alex Jones over 15 years ago on the internet, listening to his radio show and thinking, man, this guy says a lot of true stuff. Man, this guy sounds really angry and stupid. But he was saying a lot of stuff that was true at the time. He was one of the first people who was talking about how all of these different presidents are related. He talked about how the conservatives and the liberals, the Democrats and the Republicans are two different wings on the same bird, that they're the same damn thing, okay? That all of this stuff about them being divided and them not working together is a bunch of sheer foolishness. It's a bunch of damn theater. And I sat back and I listened to him say this. I'm like, damn, like he's speaking some real stuff. And, you know, back then, you know, there weren't too many white men who were speaking real shit, because a lot of times they were like, well, hell, I'll just get on one side or the other. I'll join one gang, blue gang or red gang, Democrats or Republicans, or align myself as a conservative or a liberal. And then at the end of the day, you know, I get to get some crumbs at least. And I get to feel as if I'm better than black people. Was it Lyndon B. Johnson who said something to the effect of, if you could convince the poorest white man that he's better than the highest black man, they'll give you the last penny in their pocket. I don't know. I'm paraphrasing. I forget how it's worded, but it's something like that, right? So Alex Jones, he came across as if he was not a liberal or conservative. I knew he was a pro-lifer and he was pro-military. However, he tore into George Bush, whoever, Barack Obama back in the day. He used to talk a lot of mess about all of them. He used to, quote, expose all of them. Democrat, Republican, didn't matter. Screw all of you. You're all full of it. You're all working together, right? You're all one system, all a part of the same beast. Seemed like a somewhat truthful guy, right? All of a sudden, years later, I'm on YouTube and I see this fool on here and he's talking crap about black people. And I'm sitting back and I'm like, what the hell is he talking about? Like, I don't remember Alex Jones being like this. What I do remember is him talking about Democrats, Republicans, conservatives, and liberals, and how they're basically full of it. Politicians are full of it in general. And I remember him, let me see, trying to take it back, because this is a long time ago. I was hella young too. Let me see. He talked about how the politicians work together, they're full of it. He talked about how, let me see, I think he was hawking the Berkey water filters back then,
The trihallomethanes, the pathogenic cysts,
all that stuff, that's in the water,
arsenics in the water.
all that stuff, right? I mean, he even, quote unquote, broke into Bohemian Grove, went in the forest, got Moloch the owl on camera. Of course, that's the deity of the Canaanites, right? The one that they sacrificed children to in the Bible. Moloch the owl, the Canaanites. Anyway, so he went and caught the cremation of care. What do you call it? Play or whatever. Dramatic reenactment or whatever. Cremation of care, where they burn an effigy in the likeness of a human. It's like some sort of theatrical play that they put on in the forest. The elites from around the world meet up at Bohemian Grove in California and stuff like that. Really, really weird stuff, right? This back, I think, in 2004, he put out that documentary, Dark Secrets Inside Bohemian Grove or something like that. I remember seeing it back then. And, he burned my damn tinfoil hat to ashes. Jesus. When I saw this fool go up in there, I'm like, wait a minute. So you snuck a freaking camera in there to capture that footage. Also, you're extremely pro-military. Extremely pro-military. 1 minute he's like,
Guantanamo Bay in the military and, different war crimes.
And the next minute he's like, man, we have to support the military. And I'm just sitting back and I'm like, that's double speak. Also, how the hell did you get into Bohemian Grove? That's really, really weird. How the hell did you sneak a camera in there? Remember, this is back in the day before, cameras were as small as they are now. And it wasn't, I don't think it was a little pocket pen cam. I think the type of camera that he got in there was like at least a decent camera. I mean, he shot footage of this cremation of care play, dramatic reenactment, or whatever is considered to be this ceremony. He caught it on camera, and it wasn't pitch black darkness, but it was dark enough to where cameras don't really perform in low light, at least the ones back then, unless you had a good camera, pretty much. So how the hell were you able to sneak a camera in there? And to top it off, a good enough camera, probably a bigger camera, bigger than your cell phone, at least. Remember, this is before cell phones, like iPhones, were around, where you can shoot a movie that could be shown in movie theaters is made on an iPhone. You know what I mean? Like, this is when technology wasn't what it is now. And he was able to tape that. And I'm just like, my antennas went up and started tingling. My little alien antennas, went up and they started tingling and everything. I just didn't really trust him at the time. But I didn't think that he was a racist or anything. But man, in recent times, the stuff that he's been saying about black people really let me know. Oh, I noticed over the years, I remember saying to myself, I don't really see black guests on the show. I wonder why, because, I'm thinking, like, when I think about the black people that I've heard speak over the years, whether it's the Minister Louis Farrakhan, or it's somebody like a Bobby Hemmett, or there's a bunch of them, Alimbe, Dr. Phil Valentine, there's so many black people that I've heard speak over the years, and I'm like, this is really freaking weird that he doesn't really have black guests on the shows, because he talks about conspiracy related stuff, and there's some black people who are like the damn biggest conspiracy researchers and speakers on the planet, and I'm like, it's really weird that he would not have black people on the show. And that really stuck out to me, and I'm like, that's really suspect. But I didn't want to call him a racist yet, but after what I've seen in recent years, I think that he's obviously a damn racist, in my personal opinion, for legal reasons. My opinion is, I think he's a racist. I can't say he is a racist for legal reasons, but I can say I think he's a suspected what. So I don't trust this guy. There's a lot of fishy stuff about him. There were, of course, the William Cooper rumors. Of course, William Cooper was somebody. Oh, how often did Alex Jones speak about Freemasonry? If Freemasons are running stuff, they have their symbols and courthouses and everything. We know that a lot of police officers are Freemasons and everything. They're definitely a big part of the puzzle. You don't really hear this fool talking about Freemasons or Freemasonry in general, even though it's such a big part of the equation. So, crazy thing about it is, I'm sitting back and I'm like, since I don't hear him talking about that, You know, that definitely threw me for a loop. But William Cooper definitely talked about secret societies and Freemasons a lot before he was killed. If you don't know who William Cooper is, he was, I think his show was called A Sign of the Times or something like that. He had a radio show. Bill Cooper, William Cooper. He also, let me see, he wrote the book, what's it called? Behold the Pale Horse, I think it was called. You know, but anyways, think about it as this, man. They were saying that Alex Jones, well, for legal reasons, what can I say about it? I'm very careful about what I say on the microphone. But basically, Alex Jones, William Cooper were beefing at one point. They were rivals, for what I remember. And some people were saying that Alex Jones maybe had something to do with William Cooper's demise. I don't believe that. I'm not saying that for legal reasons, but that's what people were saying. That they were blaming Alex Jones. That was like this topic that came up, which once again, for legal reasons, I don't believe that. Yeah, this video is all over YouTube about the Alex Jones and William Cooper fiasco, controversy. You know, William Cooper called Alex Jones a liar. You know, he did do an interview with William Cooper back in like 1998, and I heard that that's like the only real conversation between them, I guess. The only time that he really called us a show or whatever, I guess. But, you know, Milton William Cooper did not like Alex Jones. Okay? And he said that Alex Jones was New World Order. And I can't prove that he was, but that's what William Cooper said. Okay? But anyways, guys, man, wow. I've been rambling. I just want to throw certain things in there. I wanted to talk about William Cooper. I wanted to talk about, you know, conservative trolls. I want to talk about a lot of different things. Remember, conservatives are essentially, they're trolls, they're BS artists, and they're selling you on propaganda. Those people are agents, a lot of these conservatives. A lot of them are not real conservatives. A lot of them are rhinos. A lot of them are basically there to get you off of the path of conservatism, like real conservatism, not fake conservatism, is actually somewhat helpful, you know, to be pro-life, to be pro-American, to love your country, love your people, stuff like that. Those are very positive things, okay? Very, very good things. Now, liberals, like liberalism, a lot of it is kind of like, do whatever you want to do. And you can't have a society that functions where people just do whatever the F they want to do. Hosh Twins voice. Do whatever the fuck you want to do. Come on. You can't have a functional society like that. Anybody with a piece of a brain knows that, okay? The problem is that people like Alex Jones, who's nothing but a fake conservative, or Donald Trump, who's nothing but a fake conservative, Mr. Grab him by the coochie. No real conservative would say that. Okay? Number one. They're dangerous because they're leading people down the path of this false version of conservatism. Because rhinos and these fake conservatives like the Alex Jones and the Donald Trumps, they are to conservatism what the 5% is to Islam. It's an offshoot or a derivative or something, but it's not really what it's claiming to be. It's people who want to go and do their own thing because they couldn't really live up to the expectation. It's kind of like how these fake Christians, you know, they'll claim to be Christians, but they're having sex outside of wedlock. They're doing drugs. They're shaking their ass at the club. They're getting drunk. They're getting into fights. They're wishing death on people. They're doing everything wrong, and then they're like, oh, by the way, I'm a Christian. To hell you are, demon. You're a damn liar. Jesus. But anyways, it's the same thing. It's people in their own little group where they take some of the ideas, some of that energy, some of the ideology, some of the beliefs, and then they say, okay, if there's 100 things that make you this, I'll take 25 of them and say, see, these things make me a part of this organization, a part of this philosophy, a part of this ideology, a part of this group, Even though the rest of the stuff I don't believe in, don't do. It's not really me, but I'm going to use this name and pretend I'm a part of it because I think that I can get something out of it. They're leeches. Blood-sucking leeches. They don't really mean what they say. Their word is not their bond. They're liars. They're users. They're abusers. They're not real. They're fake. What they're saying is fabricated. It's false, but it works for them. And since there's so many other people who are living their lives that way, being fake Muslims and fake Christians and fake conservatives, there's probably some fake liberals out here too. I've never seen a fake liberal. Pretty much you can't fake liberalism for the most part. It's like if you're a damn liberal, you just are. It's like, you know, you support abortion and the homosexuality stuff and all this other crap. So it's like it's kind of like either you are or you aren't. That's the one thing I like about Democrats. It's like, and liberals, is that it's kind of hard to fake it. But anyways, guys, these conservatives know if they build their own website, if they build their own platforms, and that way what happened to Alex Jones, so that you don't get jonesed, you have your own little area on the web, people are not really going to come there like that unless it's to go there and laugh and say, do you believe, to go there and research, like, do you believe what these fools are saying over there? People are not going to interact. People are not going to give their money. It's going to be a very small place. If all these conservative idiots, so-called conservatives, team up, whether it's the Alex Joneses of the world. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention this, and I'm glad that I almost said Trump, but listen to this, okay? Alex Jones back in the day, I was trying to make this point earlier, but I forgot. I should have taken notes. Back in the day, he used to be on some Democrats and Republicans are the same thing, conservatives and liberals, same thing. Two wings on the same bird, etc. That's what he was saying. Now all of a sudden he's a staunch Trump supporter. The guy who said that basically the elections are rigged and all this stuff is a bunch of foolishness. Now he's so damn pro-Trump. What? Anybody who was around back in the day knows that's not what Alex Jones was selling 10, 15 years ago. What the hell happened? It's like it's as if he lost his mind or they put somebody who looked like him in his place. Same silly face, same silly voice, same pot belly, but a different Jones. It's like Jones' twin brother. It's like, are you Alex Jones or Adam Jones? Because something's not adding up, Alexander Jones. All right, y'all, I got to go. I've been talking for damn near 50 minutes. After I do my outro, it'll be about 50 minutes. Listen, I need you to thumb this video up, subscribe to my channel, click the notification button, share this video on social media. When I post videos on YouTube, they automatically get sent out on Twitter, okay? If you see this video on Twitter, just retweet it. That's all I'm asking you is to leave a comment, thumbs up, and share my video. Even if the comment is short saying, hi, I agree, F you, Alex Jones sucks, Alex Jones blows, Alex Jones sucks and blows, whatever. It doesn't matter. But I need you to comment, thumbs up, share the video, okay? And click that notification bell. It's right next to the subscribe button. Meat Magazine on YouTube, Meat Magazine on Twitter, Meat Magazine on Facebook, Meat Magazine blog on Instagram. Thumbs up, comment, subscribe, notify, share the video on social media. Meat Magazine, Meat Magazine, Meat Maga. Bye. Oh, and what do you guys think about my Alex Jones impression? It sucks, right?